If you do your relationships like this, you do your spiritual path like this. Get interested in someone, but because of the fear of intimacy and the childhood pattern of needing to get away and disconnect, you can't connect with someone. And so you might even lose interest or stay in a relationship that isn't fully alive and authentic for you. You're staying too safe, in other words. And when your anxious partner comes at you and wants reassurance or is concerned about the disconnection, that might even push you away into more avoidance. There are many of us with an avoidant attachment style who come to spirituality because we disconnect from people, groups, relationships, thinking we can just come here and wake up and be free. But we're fooling ourselves because the same avoidant pattern in relationship starts showing up here in spiritual practice. For example, the same pattern. I see people become interested in a practice or a path or a teaching, just like a relationship, but then after a while lose interest because the fear of getting too close to those buried emotions drives them away from the path into a sabotage, very similar to how the emotional repression and the avoidance in a relationship drives people away and into disconnection. So basically, we're doing it to ourselves on the spiritual path, and we'll keep doing it to ourselves. Basically, if we don't make the conditioning conscious that's creating the avoidance and the repression of emotion, we're going to keep suffering. And we don't know that. We might get states of peace or realization or moments of reprieve, but to end suffering, we have to get to what's driving us. We can't continue to do spiritual practice or work in the same way we do avoidant relationships. That has to change so that we can go deep into somatic work, get to the buried emotions and other programming that's driving our suffering, end suffering, and then basically go back to our relationships and the groups that we left, because the whole idea of leaving them or disconnecting, that was the suffering. There's no separation. We can't use spirituality to separate ourselves from other people. We just tried to do that because of what happened to us when we were kids. Once you understand this, you won't use spirituality that way. You'll know that using spirituality that way is a trauma response. That's how you're staying safe, by unconsciously sabotaging a path or practice. I did the same thing, and it's how you keep from ending suffering. Why would we do that? Because to continue suffering just means our conditioning is successful. It means we're staying safe and we're getting love and approval. And at the unconscious level, that's all that we want, no matter what we tell ourselves. It's just like a relationship. We may say we want to fall in love and have this wonderful connection with someone, but if we're avoidant and like we repress anger and we're afraid of conflict, we won't have that. Just like on the spiritual path, we say, I want to be free. I want to be liberated. That's what we say at the conscious level. But unconsciously, we just want to stay safe, get love, and continue avoiding our buried emotions and people. That's the avoidant spiritual path. If that's you, we have some great tools.